Currently, you're making one small mistake, stopping these backside 180s from being absolutely perfect. And that mistake just has to do with your body weight positioning going through the air, causing you to land and wash out to your heels. Because right now, I really like your takeoff and your eyes being spotted forward. There's parts of your backside 180 here that are actually better than mine. Your only problem is that you're letting your nose go down and your body tilt towards there and extend on the back instead of keeping everything stacked and centered over your snowboard. This is because you're going and trying to keep your spot initially too much towards the right side of the knuckle. So when you go and start traveling through the air, it's going and elongating your body. See right here how I'm nice and stacked over my board, good bend in my legs, where you're having your board come out from under you, knees go forward, and your upper body is super straight. And that back arm is becoming a little bit closed in. This is why you're coming into the landing and you're sort of free falling into the landing instead of having it come up and sync up with you. And that's making it harder to absorb the impact. So, what you need to do is just change your head positioning ever so slightly. Instead of having your head spot more out towards this way, just try to keep your spot a little bit more down towards the center of the knuckle while going and trying to keep your body a little more forward and stacked over your toe edge. You really don't want your board to be coming up to the back like this because that's just going to make it so your weight isn't completely set over one point. And that's what we're trying to achieve with a blind landing is having our weight set completely over our toe edge as we get into the landing. So if we compare landing shots here, you can see that my legs are meeting the landing, chest over top of the board, and we're in a similar head position. The only issue you're having here is that your weight is set too much towards that back foot, and that's causing you to get too back foot heavy. And we can see it right here where your front foot's lifting up, and that's going to make it so you can't fully grip and absorb the impact. So we need this leaned over position to be a little more centered over your board. If we go and compare this to one of your other backside 180s, we'll probably see something pretty similar. So popping up, this one you go and shift your spot a little bit too soon, rotate around, counter rotate, and then land looking higher uphill. And that one's resulting in a ride away. And that's because your weight is set more centered and over your toe edge. So what you want to do is combine this motion you're doing for the landing here, having your weight come more centered, more stacked, but with everything else you're doing on the other one. So the reason why you're going and getting tilted here is because you're just trying to use the counter rotation too soon. Your upper body is in a stacked neutral position, and then you're trying to counter rotate your legs around. But the only reason the counter rotation works in order to get the spin around is if your upper body is leaning the rotation. So if we compare right here, you can see that I'm pulling with this back arm. Here, let's sync it up a bit better. So you're counter rotating right here, neutral position, where I'm fully going and leading with that upper body. So my upper body is rotated completely 90 degrees before going and initiating that counter rotation, because counter rotation can only be used to get that extra 90 rotation of the legs. So since you're trying to use counter rotation here at 180 with a completely neutral upper body position, it's causing you to just go and slow down your rotation. And that's why it's not helping you get the spin around. Instead, it's just making you land nose heavy. But the reason why you rode away from this is because your weight was just set more over that toe edge, more over the center of your board. You have one more back one here. Let's see if we can notice anything different. Nice. So this one is a really prime example of that. You're taking off, and first of all, you're using a little bit too much toe pressure. See how your board's starting to lift up edge heavy? That's making it so you're slightly leaned forward towards your toe edge. And when you're leaned forward towards your toe edge like that, it's going to go and throw off your balance in the air a little bit. And that's what we're seeing right here, where you're just not going and rotating on a completely smooth axis. And again, we can see your legs getting lifted up slightly from you. So what you need to do to fix this is just stay a little more flat based, weight a little more centered over your edge, and keep your spot more centered straight underneath you. If you want to use counter rotation, make sure you're leading that rotation of your upper body. And I think that's going to solve a lot of your problems. Just letting your upper body lead rotation a little bit more once you're in the air should set you up to go and get a better spot, keep your weight more centered over your board, making the landing a lot easier. So make these changes, let me know how they go, and let me know when you're ready for the next advice.